You can choose to focus on your rights, or you can choose to focus on your responsibilities. And one is
Mm.
ultimately going to lead you into success, and one is going to lead you into probably anger.
Today's episode is brought to you by my good friend Andy Bovender, the founder of the Bovender team out of the Carolinas. Him and his team have helped more than 5,000 families. So if you have that client who's been thinking about making a move to or from the Carolinas, they are the team to call. Today, I sit down with Tyler Davis Jones and we talk about his philosophy on life and business. And it's a really just interesting conversation as we journey through and talk about some of his favorite books as well. With that, I have the Inner Circle group, which is an exclusive group mostly comprised of past guests. We meet 2 times a month and we talk shop, we trade ideas, and we help each other out. If that sounds like a community you want to be a part of, follow the link in the description below. And as always, I'm your host and referral partner out of San Francisco, Shawn Kunkler. So let's jump in, Tyler, right from when we were, pre doing the conversation. You mentioned a book called Heroes on a Mission, and I want
Yeah,
you to talk about the four, I
sure.
think there was four,
Yeah, there's
um,
four.
the four narratives, if you
Yeah,
will.
totally. So it's by a guy by the name of Donald Miller. Donald Miller, he was a memoirist, and he actually pivoted and started Story Brand. So if agents or people are listening to this who run companies, the company Story Brand, which has I believe it's business made simple. It's this whole like basically it's like a if you want to go to business school but you need to take it online and you're looking for affordable like ways to learn, that's what he's built. So he built like a whole
Really?
marketing engine, a negotiation. How do you negotiate? How do you create proposals? Like it's fantastic. So if you're looking for anything, just Google Donald Miller, Google Story Brand, or Google um, Business Made Simple, and you will find some of the best content out there, in my
Really?
humble opinion. Um, haven't listened or learned from it all, but it's one of the best that I've found in my you know 13 years of being a real estate agent. So Hero on a Mission, he wrote this book because he found, he was very fascinated with story, right?
Yeah.
And what he realized was, if you're familiar with Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, the
Mhm.
concept of like, a hero wants something, he has to overcome some form of tragedy in order to basically save the day and, defeat the Death Star and save the universe, right? That's every single movie you've ever seen. It follows, well, every good movie you've seen follows
True.
the hero's journey, right? And so when he studied this, what he found was there's actually four things, four ways that we respond to this trauma that we experience in our lives, right? So if you think about, a hero wants something but experiences something tragic, right? Luke Skywalker wants to be a Jedi, but he doesn't have really this inciting incident that's setting him off. But then all of a sudden, his aunt and uncle are killed by the rebel army, right? That sends him on a trajectory. That could have led him to go, poor, pitiful me. What will I ever do? The farm is now
Mm.
ruined. I'm going to sulk and I'm going to just drink my life away in this terrible little town, right? Or he could get on the ship. He could go with this guide who's leading him towards a great adventure, and he could actually choose to be the hero. So in
Mm.
this book, what he talks about is when you experience something tragic, traumatic, maybe it's the market is shifting, interest rates won't come up, your seller isn't being realistic, your buyer is not returning your call. You have an option. And that option is you can be the hero and you can say, this should not happen. And I'm going to change the world. I'm going to change my circumstances. I'm going to change the world that I'm living in so that it never happens again. But then you have an alternative solution that you could ask. You could say, this shouldn't happen, and I'm going to burn the world down. I'm going to leave a bad review on this person's page or whatever it is. You
Mm.
effectively could be the villain. So you can have a choice to be the villain or you have a choice to be the hero. And then the third one that you have a choice to be is the victim. And if you think about it, our culture is kind of predicated on this right now. It seems to be what is in vogue, which is my life is suffering and everyone should look at that and everyone should tell me that I'm suffering and you should say that let me rephrase that. Uh, our culture seems to be saying that victimhood is the way to go. But ultimately, at the end of every single story, the victim is on the back of an ambulance, has a blanket wrapped around them and shivering. And then the camera turns to the hero, right? And turns to the like beautiful scene where he kisses the girl or kisses the guy and
Mm.
celebrates like at the very end. And so we have this choice of being a victim, a villain, a hero, and then also a guide. And the guide portion of that is the Yoda. The guide is the hero who has actually gone, he's a former hero who's gone through the tragedy and come out the other side as a hero, and now is looking to the next generation to say, hey, you can do it too.
Mm.
Let me show you. And so every decision that we have, every single thing, every decision we make in life, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you're making one of those four decisions. Am I being a victim and playing the victim and saying, poor, pitiful me? Am I being the villain because I'm saying this should never happen and I'm going to burn down the world? Or am I being the hero and I'm saying, I'm going to jump into this with everything that I have. I know I will make mistakes, but ultimately I'm going to land on the other side because the world shouldn't be this way. And then
Yeah.
as we age and we get gray hair like you and myself, we recognize the future generation also needs to be guided into the hero lifestyle. So it's a great book. Highly recommend it.
I wrote it down. I
Yeah.
will definitely be picking that up. It's yeah, it's interesting if you just kind of look at, to your point, kind of the culture and society currently. It's very much victim mentality,
Totally.
very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And from that place, being a victim, you have no options. Like
Yeah.
you're a victim of the circumstances,
Right.
and
And
it's
I have a lot of empathy and compassion, I think, for anyone who's gone through something difficult. Like if you think about the current environment, housing prices are at an all-time high, interest rates are super high, the job market has
Mhm.
slowed. People are coming out of school with a massive amount of debt. People are afraid to basically get married or have children because it's going to be wildly too expensive to be able to do it. You put all of those things stacked together and it feels like the world is against you. And so
Yeah,
I'm not here to point the finger and say, don't be a victim. But I am trying to encourage to say, well, you have a choice. You could be a victim, or you could look at yourself internally and say, what could I do to make things better? Right. And that's
yeah,
every
yeah,
person's journey. That's not for me to say you should do X, Y, and Z. It's like when I wake up in the morning, I should go, how can I be a hero today? And that might just be maybe I have no business at all lined up. Uh, and so maybe all it could be is like, I'm going to text my best friend and see how they're doing. I'm going to text that I'm going to call one of those, one of my old clients and just check in and say, hey man, the world's crazy right now. How are you doing? Right. Like
yeah,
we
yeah,
have a choice to basically bring goodness into the world or to just like sit on our phones and doom scroll. And
yeah,
I don't know, dude. I'm gonna choose the latter because it seems like a much more fun, engaging, exciting way to push forward. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, friends, I have a small favor to ask. For me to continue to bring you outstanding guests who share their best kept secrets for growing a successful real estate business, please take a moment and hit that like button so agents like you can find this content. And also hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss out on any new episodes. Now, back to our show. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that reframe. It does. Like when you're in the thick of whatever you're going through, it absolutely sucks. Um, but again, like on the other side of it is, in my mind, if I am in a situation and then I give all my power away, then it doesn't give me any resourceful tools for me to actually do work to get out of
Yeah.
that situation. And so I think that's where like it's I think more of what I'm referring to is that blame mentality
Yeah. Sure.
where again you're putting the onus on somebody or something else where it's like if you just put it back on your own plate,
Mhm.
you can usually if you work hard enough, you can figure out a solution to get out of
Yeah.
it. But if it's yeah, I don't know how clearly doing a shitty job of trying to
Well,
articulate my thoughts.
you and I were talking about this previous, like before we started hit record, and I think one of my favorite quotes, and this is a Zig Ziglar quote, but he says, "You can choose to focus on your rights, or you can choose to focus on your responsibilities, and one is
Mm,
ultimately going to lead you into success, and one is going to lead you into probably anger." And like, I'm not here to say that don't focus on like human rights or anything along those lines. Obviously, those things are important. But if you know that you live in one of the greatest countries in the world that does say all men and women are created equal, that you do have equal rights, if you can stand
mhm.
firm on that, if you have a faith as well as I do, it's like I know for a fact who I am in God's image. And so I can
Yeah,
go, all right, cool. I'm going to move forward and I'm going to basically choose uh, I'm going to choose what my responsibilities are rather than focusing on what my rights are. And I say that
yeah,
fully understanding, like I'm a white male, I am straight, all of those things, but I moved here with nothing. I literally moved here coming off of a nonprofit salary where I was raising my salary. I think I was raising like $15,000 a year or something like that. I knew no one in Washington state. And now our team is actually
damn.
I think we're number 12 in Washington State, number 12 in Seattle, Washington. Um,
Kudos.
yeah, man. And it's like,
It's
and
huge.
you totally. And I say that not to pat myself on the back, but I just say that to go that every single day, I have not done it to the best of my ability, but every day, what we have done is we've showed up and said, okay, how can I not be a victim and how can I move towards being a hero? How can I serve, right?
Yeah.
What does it look like to serve our community, our clients, and just give and then know for a fact that at some point there's going to be some reciprocity.
Yeah. And I think that's the powerful reframe is the question. It's like they've done studies on it, but people generally are asking questions to themselves all day long. And
Yeah.
it's wild. It's something like 60,000 questions or 60,000 thoughts happen in a day and 30,000 of them are the same.
Yeah. Unless
And
you have
they're
88,
usually
if you have
questions.
ADHD, you've got 80,000. So, uh,
Jesus Christ, my head feels like a popcorn machine. Like
dude,
it's like thought,
yeah,
thought, thought, thought.
yeah, for sure.
It's you have no idea how hard it is sometimes to sit in the seat and be like,
Totally, man.
not just
Totally.
blurt out random stuff that's running through
Of
my head.
course. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um, but
I've
and
got
with that,
I've
I
got
totally
ADHD.
lost.
That's yeah. I was diagnosed ADHD like college basically, and the best way I've heard it explained was you've got a Ferrari engine for a brain, and you have bike brakes for brakes, like literally, squeezy bike brakes, and it's like it feels that way because it's just like yeah, yeah, for sure. So it's a gift and it's a curse all at once. So yeah,
Which I think everything is a gift and a curse.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
it's really, you just said Ferrari. Ferraris are a gift on a track. They're
Yeah,
amazing. But
yeah,
take it off roading. It's garbage.
yes, hot garbage.
Like
Yeah,
a four-wheel
exactly.
drive is
Yeah,
good, or take a Ferrari in the snow. It's
yeah,
garbage.
yeah,
Take it
exactly.
in the ocean. It's garbage.
Totally.
Like it's
You gotta put
it's
it on the
like
right lane. That's actually I've never thought of that. That's a really good perspective to have, to be like, "Yeah, where does my brain thrive best or my skill sets run best?" Like, that's man, that would be really good, I think, because 'cause you've got boys, right? You got 2 sons.
Mhm.
Like, to
Yeah,
educate or to give your boys that direction or give my kids that direction of like, "Hey, don't worry if you fail at this, you're just on the wrong track," you know? It's like
yeah,
you're a mountain bike trying to ride a road bike. Like, let's go on the mountain bike, you
yeah.
know? So, that's cool.
Have you been completely neglecting your newsletter, social media, or any of your outbound marketing? If so, I have a solution for you. With little to no commitment, a virtual assistant can jump in and help you in those areas you just don't have the time for. For more information about hiring a virtual assistant, go ahead and follow the link in the description below. It's there's a and I'm going to totally destroy it, but there's a quote from Einstein and it's something with regards to if you judge a fish's intelligence by its ability to climb a tree, it's going to fail.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
good.
like and for me having definitely having an attention issue
Yeah,
deal
sure.
problem, sitting in school, I was the world's
Yeah.
worst student.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
but if I'm actually curious and interested in something, I will deep dive that thing and know
Yeah,
more about it
totally.
than anybody else in like a week's time.
Yeah.
Like if it just sparks in that right way,
Yeah,
and
for
if it
sure.
doesn't, totally not interested.
For sure. Yeah.
Um, but I think that goes back to, this whole hero's journey and asking questions and kind of figuring out where your genius is. But I think the problem currently is things happen. We make up these narratives. We
Sure.
hinge why the world is the way it is, and then it makes us stuck. But
Mhm.
if, to your point, if you look for the solution, the way out, like as a real estate agent working with, let's say, a seller, we're faced with all kinds of challenges throughout. And
Mhm.
so we always have to be resource based. We have to come up with solutions.
Yeah.
We can't just say, we can't sell it because whatever, we can't get this report. We're done. Like
Sure.
that's not like they want to sell, they have a goal and they have a specific outcome that we have to help them achieve.
Sure.
And I think the important part or the point that I'm trying to make is if we can just ask resourceful questions of ourselves when we hit those stick points.
Yeah.
And something that was always really deeply powerful and inspiring for me is when I moved out here, like we have these perceived challenges in our own
Uh-huh.
lives. And Bruce Lee I was studying martial arts at the time and
No,
I
no way.
very
Cool.
much looked up to him,
Yeah.
who he's actually buried in Seattle.
Yeah.
But he was 5'8", Asian, and like 150 pounds soaking wet.
Mhm.
And being Asian as a film star or a future film star in the 70s
Yeah.
was an impossibility
Yeah.
in Hollywood, and yet he
Yeah.
pulled it off.
Yeah, and he was
And
loved by everybody, like, it wasn't even
internationally adored,
internationally,
like
yeah. Yeah,
crazy.
totally.
But and I think the fascinating thing is in reading his works is he had a line where he said, "You must make your weakness your attribute." And it's those things that like being 5'8" and being light as compared to a 6.5 foot fighter,
Yeah.
that made him really fast. So then
Yeah.
he made that like he made himself even faster. He took his weakness and made it his attribute.
Yeah.
And I think that's being in real estate or whatever industry somebody's in and they're listening to it, I think you got to look at and ask these different questions. How do I make like, okay, so you didn't go to college. How is that your attribute?
Yeah,
Like, how is that then a strength? Or
sure.
you have ADHD.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a weakness, but how is it then a strength?
Yeah.
How is it then the Ferrari on the track and not the Ferrari
Yeah.
driving on a hill in snow?
Totally, man. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with that because it's just because otherwise you're going to you'll going back to the victim versus hero mindset is you'll go into victimhood if you're like, well, if only this, if I
Mhm.
was taller, if I was, went to the right school, if I did all that stuff. It's like, no, it's like
Yeah.
you have been built and experience things that no one else has experienced. And you can actually be put in situations that will cut through the noise of the guy who went to University of Washington and only transacts with all of his buddies. It's like, okay, like for me, like that for when I first got into the business here in Seattle, that's what the brokerage that I was at, and I love that brokerage. They're great, but it was all started by like former UW people. They were like, "Yeah, get with
Mm.
your fraternity brothers and go tailgate at the Husky game." And I'm like, well, I'm from Nashville. I just moved here like 4 years ago. I don't have any of that, and, like, I gotta figure out a different solution, but the cool part about
Yeah.
that is, like, my creativity started to work, and I started a podcast, and I started, writing blogs, and I started, like, getting and what I
There you go.
recognized too was so many of these people were moving to Seattle for these tech jobs, and they were coming from small town cities like I was from, and so, like,
Yeah.
I got to offer this friendly, "Hey, I'm just a good old boy, Tyler, and I'm here to serve, and you don't have any commission breath. That's not me. I'm here to serve you. If you don't decide to buy, that's okay. If you don't decide to sell, like I'm just here to serve whatever your goal is." And it completely lowered people's perspective. Like they weren't,
Yeah.
there was no fear. Like this agent who's, whatever, all gussied up and rolling in with a Ferrari, there was none of that, right? There was just more like, hey, I'm just here. Yeah, let's go check it out. Let's see. Let me call my contractor who also is a good buddy of mine, and let's see if he can, we can get him to fix this thing because I know him and we go to barbecues on Sundays together. Like that actually separated and made my business. And at one point,
Yeah.
had I just sat and were like, yeah, I'm never going to be able to sell real estate because I just don't know anybody. It's like, well, what is, I wouldn't be standing here today. There's no way. So anyways, I
Yeah.
love that. That's good.
Yeah, it's funny I started with a brokerage and I was there for like 3 or 4 months, hated it and switched to a little boutique.
Sure.
And at the time I was living in the East Bay because that's all I can afford. Like it was just too monumental of a cost to
Sure.
to move to the city. And I remember sitting with the managing broker and she was like, "You really need to move in the city and you need to start farming the neighborhood." And
That's
I
cool.
remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't I just don't have that the finances right now.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, within like 3 months, I sold a $2.5 million place and then a 2 million and then like backed it into all these other sales. And I remember thinking to myself, man, that was the worst advice I could have ever heard
Sure. Yeah.
because it was like the worst and the best because like I part of me was like, well, I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the other part of it is I just hustled open houses
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And then the other it's funny now that I'm, like, thinking about it, unpacking years earlier, the question, which I'm sure you got in the beginning was, "Well, how long you been doing this?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck, man, I don't know how to overcome that objection
Yeah.
because I'm brand new, I don't have a sale yet." And so I literally I think it was, like, at that time, I was 3 months in at the brokerage, and I think there's a copy here because 'cause I'm rewriting it, but I wrote The Insider's Guide to Home Buying
Yeah. Let's
as a
go.
brand new agent because I was like, okay, if I hand you this at an open house, you're not going to ask me how long have I been doing
Heck
this.
yes. That's so
It's going to
smart.
change the
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
And so to your point, I just used my creativity to
Yeah.
overcome these problems, which I was like, I think this is the Zig Ziglar, but either that or it's Brian Tracy, but objections are unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, well, then how do I turn that into a question and answer it?
Yeah.
And basically then inoculate the question of
Totally.
how long you've been doing
Totally.
this.
Well, and you created authority, right? Like that's another
Yeah.
thing Donald Miller talks about in Story Brand is like you don't need a ton of authority, but you do need some, right? So like
Yeah.
if you've been interviewed on this podcast, you should probably put the logo there up at the top, like proudly featured on, on this podcast and maybe interviewed in the San Francisco Times or whatever. Like
Yeah.
doing some form of authority kind of sets the stage, but you don't need a ton of it. So I love that. You're like, yeah, you're probably not going to read this book, but here's my business card that has, 75 pages. And it basically says, like, I know what the heck I'm talking about. That's so brilliant,
Yeah.
dude. I love that. I love that so much. Yeah.
And that goes back to the like what's your weakness and how do you
Yeah,
actually make it your attribute
for
and you
sure.
just get out in front of it.
Yeah.
But again, I think to your earlier point is if then I took that feedback from that manager of I didn't live here and it's woe is me, I'm not going to succeed. And then I just kept rebuilding that narrative in my head. I'm not going to
yeah.
succeed. I'm not going to succeed. I probably wouldn't have succeeded.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have asked a different question and came up with a different solution. And I mean, of course, I tried a whole bunch of other things that failed and crashed and burned, but I just kept moving.
Totally. Yeah. You keep
Um,
moving forward because, like, Sally, what is it? Oh gosh, man, the book is like on the tip of my tongue. Brian Buffini always talks about this particular book. Anyways, it's about. Well, gosh, you can cut all this. I'm sorry. I will proceed until I succeed, or something along those lines. Is one of the quotes. The idea is
yeah,
like I am going to. continually push forward regardless of failure, and I will continue to proceed through this until there is success on the other side. And like that mantra of like, yeah, okay, I failed at that. That's fine. That doesn't matter. The goal isn't to like succeed at that thing. The goal is to succeed, right? And there's like 55 other things in between this and what success actually looks like.
Yeah.
And I'm going to learn from each one of those things and just keep pushing forward. Um,
Yeah.
that's great, man. That's really good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I think that that mentality, and from doing this podcast, I think that comes from doing an athletic endeavor.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
like you mentioned your son practicing golf, and it's like you have a bad swing. That doesn't mean you're a bad player. You just had a bad swing. It's fixed
Hmm.
it on the next one. Or you had a bad game and you lost. That doesn't mean you're a loser. You
Right.
just had a lesser day than the other player that day.
Right.
And it's I really genuinely feel there's a lot of valuable life lessons that you learn from sports. And my youngest did fencing. And
Mm.
if you're not familiar with the way fencing works, it's pools. And they will put everybody with everybody,
Wow.
meaning
Yeah.
he's brand new, was competing against like the number one in the state. And when you go to these tournaments, you eat a heaping pile of shit
Wow. Yeah.
because if once you go through the pools, it's designed to filter out the lesser players right away. So
Yeah.
you are going to lose. And it's such a good lesson. It's like
Mm.
it's such a valuable lesson. Like you lost, you're not a loser. You
Yeah.
just lost.
Yeah.
Like go back and practice harder.
Yeah.
And I mean, this kid for the first 4 or 5 years, he lost and lost. And he actually got to the point. I remember he went up against it was a it was a bigger tournament south of here, and he went against I think the top fencer in California, and he got up 1 point on him. And
Mm.
dude, that 1 point was more important to him than it was like he had just won the championship because he got 1 point on the best guy.
Yeah, man. That's
And
awesome.
it's such a
Yeah.
like magnificent
Yeah.
reframe of I don't know. I think it's so important, especially as agents. It's like, you should celebrate having the opportunity to have that listing. Like
Yeah.
that's a huge achievement. Winning and losing the listing, that's not the achievement. It's like showing up and getting it because it's the statistics. It's a numbers
Yeah.
game.
Totally,
Like
man.
it's a game of percents.
Yeah, for sure. I just remembered, by the way, what I was thinking of. The book is The Greatest Salesman in the World. I don't know if you've read this.
Mm,
Uh, but in it there are 10 scrolls, and it's a story, but
yeah.
in these stories he always has one scroll, and one of the scrolls is I will persist until I succeed. That's one of the like mantras. And so that's another one I would suggest picking up for sure. You can even get it, I think, for free online now. But um, yeah, The Greatest Salesman in the World. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, man, that's awesome. I had no that makes sense on fencing. I guess that's probably similar to like jujitsu. I guess I think they do the same thing. They're just kind of like, all right, get in there, and basically,
Oh,
you're gonna
especially
go.
when you practice,
Yeah,
like
you're just
you're
in,
just
and
gonna get broken off a
yeah,
lot,
yeah,
especially in the beginning. You're gonna get
totally,
smothered and choked, and
yeah, for sure,
that's just par for course.
yeah,
I mean, all martial arts. Like
yeah,
especially in the beginning, you're getting pummeled. And the funny
yeah,
thing, the irony is, you actually want to go against the black belts.
yeah.
It's the junior, the white belts who are actually those are all my worst injuries are from white belts.
For sure, because they just didn't know how far to push, yeah, that makes complete sense. They're trying to, like, prove themselves, and then they basically end up hurting you because of it, so, yeah,
100%. Or they
yeah,
think that a practice match is a UFC champion and they're going to
sure.
get some sort of medal at the end of it. And you're like,
You're like, "No,
bro,
dude." Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I need all these digits and bones intact when we're done
Sure,
here.
makes sense. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, are you relaunching your podcast?
I I'm very much contemplating it. I think the world needs people who are willing to stand up and say what truth is. And I think all of us know what truth is, right? And our, call it God, call it the universe, call it whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I don't really care your label, but I think we have something inside of us that says, hey, like murder is wrong. Like there are all these aspects, the 10 commandments, if
Yeah.
you will. Like we can all go, there's a hierarchy of what good is and what potentially bad is and what evil is. And I think I think in light of like what's happened over the last couple of really the last couple of years, but honestly the last couple of days, uh,
Yeah.
I think my hope is I just want to be a light, man. I want to bring truth to folks. And so I don't know what that's going to look like. In some sense, maybe this is a little bit of a boost for me to kind of kick things off and maybe some accountability. But I love this type of format because I love talking to people and learning from people from all different backgrounds and all different
Yeah.
perspectives. And I think that's how we grow as a society is like
100%.
we have to learn from each other. We can't hold tight to our own perspectives, and we have to be able to move in that direction. So, uh,
Yeah.
I'm sure my business partner Adam's going to kill me for saying I'm going to relaunch my podcast, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, yeah,
You're
yeah,
like, "We'll see, it's fine."
yeah,
Yeah,
for
man,
sure.
I mean, based on the hero's jour or the what is it? Hero on a Mission.
Mhm.
The last one you mentioned, it's the mentor. And
Yeah,
I feel like the tribe elder is I mean, we as a culture in the US, we don't and never really had a tribe elder.
yeah,
Like I feel like we kind of through my grandparents' generation, maybe a little bit because they like when my grandparents were here, their parents were the immigrants
yeah,
and they lived in a 2-unit building. And my grandparents lived on one floor and took
yeah.
care of them, and their parents lived in the other. And
Totally.
so you had the elder around. And then when my grandparents had their first child, it's like you
Yeah,
had that structure. But I feel like we've gotten away from that. Our parents live in a home,
yeah.
and
Well,
we visit them, and
yeah,
we're
and
losing.
yeah, yeah, we're losing out. I think on something that's so important to humanity. I had an interesting thing happen. This is a fun story. So if you go to my Instagram and you scroll down like by 2 years, 3 years, something like that, I posted a video with a Ryan Holiday quote behind it, and the
Mm,
video
he's a
is
good
is
author.
he is a great author, yeah. But the quote is him saying like it says one of the reasons you should pay attention to your death, and I could be misquoting this, but effectively, like pay attention to your death because we don't know the numbers of days that we have on this earth, right? Recognizing that it is short, right? And I
Yeah.
took a video. I took a video actually of this chart that I have because I'm a little bit sadistic and I have it hanging up in my office at Compass, and it's a human life in 90 years and it's by weeks, right? So you have 90 small tiny little lines, and it's a human life chart, and you mark off where you're at. And it is the reason I do this is because I recognize like, hey, I'm not guaranteed 90 years first and foremost, especially with my family's genetics. Like
Same.
yeah, if I make it to like 75, I'm like, let's go, that's great. So so
Everything else is bonus.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm playing with house money after 75. But so I just turned 40, in some sense I'm on this second half of life where, I need to move
Yeah.
towards what does it look like to be a guide with people. But the interesting thing, so that you can go back and look at that reel. It went viral. I think it's at 7 million, 8 million views or something along those lines. And
Jumping Jesus.
the reason it went to that level is because people either loved it or they hated it. So I had people commenting like, "We need to get this guy banned from Instagram," and, like, people were, like, attacking me, and I was like, "I literally posted this for my buddies, like, this is insane how it had this level of impact." Or people were like, "Thank you so much, where can I get that chart?" Right? "Can I please get that chart from you?" Because in our society, like you said, I think we have completely eliminated this view of death, this experience of death, right? When somebody
Yeah.
dies, we cover them up and we stick them away and we make sure that no one sees it. And culturally, for, you know, I would say starting probably 100 years ago, maybe is when this all started. But before that, every human being got to be there for their grandparent who is passing, got to participate in what this looks like, got to probably um, hold the shovel and dig the grave, right? And in some sense, we've lost sight of that connectedness to like, hey, this is a temporary blip. It is a blip. And it's like, what are we gonna do with this one wild and precious life? Um, I think you're 100% right, dude. It's like we've completely lost sight of the elder because we don't think that the elder is needed because we've sanitized and think we're gonna live forever, which we're not. We're just not.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you, man.
Dude, it's weird. It's really weird. I really enjoy this conversation, but it's really weird the way that you think. It's very much the way that I process in a very similar way.
Yeah.
But it's if you look actually over my shoulder,
Uh-huh.
there's a gold skull
Yeah. Okay.
that literally sits over my shoulder, and that's
No
very
way.
intentional.
Yeah.
It's to remind me that this is all just gonna pass. Like
Yeah.
that hard deal that you're going through and you have the crazy clients, you're
Yeah.
like, this is just temporary, man. Like this
Yeah.
is part of the experience. Like
Yeah.
it's not that important. Like
Yeah.
figure it out, problem solve it, and just move forward. And
Yeah.
so
I
yeah,
I
it's
I love the 5 year, 5 month, 5 day, 5 minute rule. So it's like, will this matter to me in 5 years? No, probably not. Will it matter to me in 5 months? No, probably not. Will it matter to me in 5 days? Probably not. Will it matter to me in 5 minutes? Well, if I think about all of those other things, it probably shouldn't, and I can just move on. Like,
it's true.
all the stuff that that we worry about and stress about and try to control, and it's like, I get it, but it's like at some
Yeah.
point, like you said, it's not gonna matter. That deal that is going sideways isn't necessarily gonna matter, and the thing that's going to matter is, did you go to your son's fencing match? Did you go on that camping trip that you've been wanting to do? Did you go on the buddy's golf trip? Did you take your wife out on a date? Like, those are the things that matter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's important to remember because you're right. Like, have you read, what is it? Time Management for Mortals?
No,
Okay.
I haven't even
Okay.
heard of this one.
Okay. Okay. This is such a good book. Okay. So in Time Management for Mortals, I think it's like 4,000 hours or something like that, Time Management for Mortals. And basically the whole concept of this book is exactly that, that you're one of the at one point in your life, your best friend, right, that you loved, that you just like, you guys were bros. At one point was the last time you slept over his house. But you didn't know that. The day that that happened, you're like, "All
Hmm.
right, bro. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah, I love that we stayed up and played PlayStation or, Atari or whatever, and that was amazing." And you gave him a
Yeah.
hug or whatever, and you said, "All right, I'll see you later." And then you never went to his house again for a sleepover. And that is everything in our life. One day,
Yeah.
your kid is not gonna hug you. It'll be the last time your kid hugs you. One day,
Yeah.
you know, and so it's these moments that seem so insignificant that honestly are the most significant. Like, we have to pay attention to them because again,
Yeah.
it's that awareness, that special awareness that we have to go, "Whoa, man, this life is precious." So, yeah, have the gold skull, have the chart where you're marking how many, weeks you have left, and then recognize, like, it's all a gift, dude. Like, every second is a freaking gift, and live it to the full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a beautiful way to say it. And yeah, and you reminded me that our youngest just went to college on the East Coast, and that was
Mm.
super hard. And CLO, like as his year was wrapping up, she would she would do the lasts, but
Mm.
like very consciously. She's like, "Hey, can I drive you to school one last time? Can I drive you to
Yeah.
fencing one last time?
Yeah.
Um, like what restaurant do you want to eat one last time before you go to college?" and she just like accumulated all these lasts.
Yeah.
And then the other day he called her and was like, "Hey, I really appreciate we did all those lasts."
Mm,
And I was just like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's like," because she really made it like
Yeah.
it was
Intentional
it was
about it.
like
Yeah.
very intentional and very
Yeah.
like very present when she did it, and he recognized it, and I was like, "Oh, that was just really
Yeah.
really cool." And she, I mean, she's really amazing with that. She's literally the only person I know who will get excited about like,
Mm.
hey, like she'll like she's a photographer, but she'll like watch the weather and stuff. She's like, tomorrow's sunrise should be really good. I'm gonna get up early just to watch it.
Oh my
And like
gosh. Come
very
on.
intentional.
Just,
And the boys
yeah.
know, and the boys, one's in
Yeah.
LA and the other one's in New York. But we do every day we do a photo of the day to like
Yeah.
a group chat. And you don't have to say what it is, just
Just,
send it.
just post it.
And
Yeah. Just
it's
send
so
it. Yeah.
random stuff, which is great. It's really
Yeah.
awesome. But the two boys did sunsets the other day, and I was like, oh,
Mm,
that's
come
totally
on,
tipping my
man. Come on. That's so good. Yeah. Sounds like you got a good one, man. That's amazing. Yeah. That
hat.
intentionality is so important. It's like, I think in a world of doom scrolling and distraction and got to get the next deal, like it's so, and I'm so guilty of this. Like I'm crazy guilty of this, of just
Mm.
kind of like I'm sitting with my kid, maybe I'm paying attention. Maybe I've got a podcast in my ear, which I'm just like, what are you doing, dude? Like be present, like maybe I'm searching my phone or I'm like looking at email or I'm waiting on the seller to call me or whatever. And I think I'm just over that, man. I want to
Yeah,
be over it. I want to be better about it because, yeah.
I can share something that we did that was really amazing, and I'm so
Hmm.
appreciative that it was kind of like, something really bad happens and what do you do with it? But we
Sure.
were
Yeah.
Cielo and I were at dinner, and I don't know, I had a deal happening. I don't remember what was happening, but I think we like placed our orders, and then I immediately jumped on my phone and I was like scrolling and looking and
Sure.
responding to people. And I look up and she was just like glaring at me, and I was like, "Ah, shit." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "When we go to dinner, can we go to dinner?"
Oh.
And I was just like, "Oh." And I literally put my phone in my pocket, and I literally
Oh,
was like, "I
yeah.
promise I will not look at my phone at dinner." And then we said to the boys, we had a hard no phones at the table
Yeah.
rule,
Yeah.
and like you can't pull your phone out. And if
Yeah.
I have, and the other unwritten agreement is, if I have a deal that's blowing up and I have to
Mhm.
take a phone call, I have to get up and leave the table.
Yeah.
And it's like that. And then I think it was, I can't remember which, it might have been Nolan, the older one, but we started doing, and I love this too. We do thorn, bud, rose.
Yes. 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 Or high low diamond or yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we go around the table, and
Yeah.
so it became like dinner became like this
Yeah.
very protected family space where
Yeah.
you have to look each other in the eye and
Mhm.
talk about each other's day,
Yeah.
and it it was really great. Like, and I'm really
Yeah.
glad we were able to recover it, and it didn't just become like people watching TV and like
Yeah.
scrolling their phone and not like a bunch of people who live together but don't actually communicate.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Yeah, dude. That's beautiful. I love that. My wife, Jen, she has made us do the, high low diamond is what she says, or,
Mm,
but same concept, right?
yeah.
I was just like, what was a good thing? What was a bad thing? And what was something that surprised you? And, yeah, man, it's so
Oh,
beneficial. Yeah, I love that.
ours was slightly different, by the way. It was
Okay.
um like, I don't want to say one bad thing, but one thing you wish it didn't happen.
Mm,
Um
mhm.
One good thing, and then one thing you're looking forward to.
Looking forward to so the bud because it's emerging.
It's
Ah, I
emerging.
like that. I like that. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
And
I
then
love that.
basically the other two, the bad gets inoculated by the good. And
Yeah.
so the bud is the thing that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're actually focused on in the future.
I love that. Yeah, that's
Um
awesome, man. Well, good for you guys.
what
Yeah, the
what
note. Oh, good.
I was going to ask, what book are you reading currently?
Oh, dude,
You have ADD, so you probably have five going at one time.
yeah, right. It's true. It's true. I am still trying to navigate my way through Project Hail Mary, which is going to be actually a movie here pretty soon with Ryan Gosling. Um, so it's like a space book, and one of my clients
Interesting.
gave it to me, who's like, and I'm not a space, like I never read sci-fi growing up. I read like Chronicles of Narnia and maybe a little bit of Harry Potter as I got older, and read those to my kids, but and
Mm,
Lord of the Rings, I read those as well, but I was never a space geek, but this book, Project Hail Mary, is so good. I think it's gonna be a fantastic movie. I'm pretty excited about that. And then I picked back up because I think, I've gone through waves of my faith, you know?
yeah.
There was a season of life where I was like, "I don't believe any of this." Fully kinda deconstructed, kinda tried on the Buddhism hat, and I'm like, "I grew up in the South, I'm what am I doing here?" I've got, like, years and years of this, like, theological understanding behind my belt. I can't just, like, deviate from it, but I wanna find something that's true and
Yeah.
pure and beautiful. And so I started rereading, or actually reading Purpose Driven Life is a Rick Warren book, and it's just like a 3 or 4-page little book where he's just talking through, like, various points of scripture and kind of how that applies to your life. What does it look like to actually live it
Mm,
out? And it's not judgmental. It's just what I feel like is for me truth. And it's a
mm,
nice little grounding pill to basically take in the morning to go, okay, what is my purpose here? How can I show up? How can I love people well? I'm not a
yeah.
perfect guy whatsoever. I'm not here to stake claim that I've got the truth, but I have scaffolding that has really been beneficial for my life.
Mm,
And I know that when I believe, again, call it God, the universe, whatever, that there's something conspiring that loves me and is pushing towards what is good for me, um,
mm,
I'm a lot better off than in existential nihilism. You know what I mean? When I think that all of it's meaningless, it doesn't matter. When it's vapor whenever I'm done, and it's black, and no one knows, and it doesn't matter. And I'm like, I would prefer to live in an environment and in a way that is pushing towards what does it look like to serve the poor, to be with the widows, to care, sacrificially for people in a way that is, no greater love than to lay down one's life for your brother. Like that to me is like that's the juice. That's the stuff that we all go, yeah, that's true. And I'll chew the meat and spit out the bones. Like if there's stuff that's complicated, I still wrestle with a lot of things, a lot of questions, but I
yeah.
know nihilism has left me very empty and meaningless, and it's even taken a few of my friends' lives because they ended theirs because they basically lived in a nihilistic state, and I'm not about that. So yeah, man, um, that's what I got. So Project Hail Mary and then Purpose Driven Life. So yeah,
I really appreciate the way you said that. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. And I feel like I think that's the meaning of life is like we should be searching for these things and allowing in those things that resonate and make sense
yeah,
and fit, they feel right and either challenging and exploring deeper those other aspects that you're like, that I don't know if that makes sense, but let me like look into it. And I agree, man. I think I think there's something to be said about just the exploration of trying to understand these things. And
yeah,
there's something really nurturing about
yeah.
that in learning it versus just flat out rejecting it, which I think rejecting it is
So
fine. But I think, as with most, is you should seek first to understand
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
for sure,
reject it
for
rather
sure,
than rejecting it
yeah.
just based on hardlining your current beliefs. I think we should challenge our beliefs, and I think we should
Totally.
challenge ourselves. But you're right. When you, in my personal life, when I've when I feel like I've just lost all hope, belief
Mm,
in
uh-huh.
other in greater,
Yeah.
it gets really that much harder. But when you
Yeah.
at least have things that you believe in, or you're
Yeah.
trying to seek out and understand and unpack, I don't know. I think there's something to it. And I
Yeah.
feel, and I've gone through my own personal cycles and journeys,
Sure.
and
Sure.
was like, oh, I want to understand again. I want to understand. I'm not going to study it for life, but I want to understand
Yeah.
Taoism or Buddhism
Yeah.
or the the Catholic belief system or whatever, and
Sure.
just kind of, again, with my own life, it's the Bruce Lee saying is,
Mm.
take what is useful and
Yeah.
reject what is useless.
Absolutely,
And
man. Well, and I think truth, in order for truth to be true, it doesn't matter what book it's written in. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
again, it goes to that soul, with that soul, you know, even the fact that I think all of us have trauma is indicative that we as human beings recognize trauma exists because there is a truth, there is a good, there is a love. You know what I mean? Like you
yeah,
can't have trauma. You can't have light without dark. It's the yin and the yang, right? You have to have,
mhm,
in order to have good, you have to have evil. And I know that's crazy to think about, but all of us can recognize that without any theological study or anything along those lines. That's not the point here. The point is,
mhm.
what does it look like to pursue truth and to understand and learn from truth? So yeah, dude, I mean, the Tao Te Ching, I love reading that. I've read a little bit of Buddhism and stuff. I've got a Jewish study Bible up here too. Like I'm
Yeah.
constantly trying to understand, um, and I could be better at staying more consistent and not just pulling from everything, because I do think that there's something healthy about just, I focus on one thing, you know? But
Ah,
that's
shit.
also how my brain was wired, and so it just kinda is what it is, but,
It's
um,
funny. That's like, that's my biggest challenge currently. I'm almost 50, and it's been my challenge my whole life. Like, I am so incredibly envious of those people who are like, I
yeah.
studied this one thing for 40 years. And I'm like, how the hell did you do that for
Yeah, yeah,
four
yeah, yeah.
days,
Yeah,
4 years? I don't
sure,
even like, I don't understand.
sure.
I don't have a reference point in my brain
Yeah.
for like 40 years of dedicated study to this,
Well, that's why you're a
to
real estate broker,
a
dude.
thing.
Because like, it's every day is different. I mean, that's just the reality. My therapist, he's 77, lives in New Mexico. He also has ADHD, and he's like, "I've had 46 careers in my 77 years of life." And he's like, and he
I love
goes,
this guy
"I know."
already.
I'm like, "Yeah, he's the best." And he used to be a real estate agent, used to be a mortgage broker. He's like, he used to be a cop. Like, I mean, the dude has like lived a full life, but he's like, as soon as I did not have anything to learn, I was out of there. And I'm like, I actually don't think that's a bug. I think that's a feature, you know? I think that's
I
I think
love
we have
it.
to own
Yeah.
that, you know? And just move forward with it and go, yeah, that's who I am. And rather than like shame myself for it, just be like, how cool is that? Like I've lived 100 lives, it feels like, you know, and you've
Yeah.
studied one thing for your entire career. That's crazy. That sounds
I,
awful to me. So
dude,
anyway,
I actually jotted that down. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
yeah,
I love that because yeah, I mean, I think, as a product of born in the 70s and a kid of the 80s, when I was in school, it was looked down upon. So it was a
yeah,
stigma to be all over the map. But yeah, I mean, it's wild. Um, I mean, I as well have had multiple careers in
sure,
completely different directions. But to
sure.
your therapist's point, it's like, once I feel like I've maxed out on knowledge,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done,
Yeah.
Burp," and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
immediately on to
I'm
the
bored.
next.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
I have there's a cigar box over my shoulder. It's like, I can tell you everything about cigars, and I was super into it for a month, and then I totally lost interest. And I was like, like, but I
Well,
mean, like, volumes of my whole garage
yeah,
is full of those.
yeah, for sure. I love it,
Um,
dude. Well, how do we wrap up? I got a 3 p.m. I gotta jump on here in a minute, but
yeah,
is there any
it's
last
funny. we're actually at time.
Yeah,
No, man, this has been awesome. So
good.
I'll let you know once we go live.
Awesome. That sounds great. Thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate you. Grateful for you. This was a lot of fun, and I think you've inspired me to maybe push in this direction again because I missed it, man. I have missed it for sure. So I think you can go back. Actually, or my email I think has the link back to our podcast. So if you want to go back and check it out, you can check it out. But Rise Seattle podcast is what it was, and it's still up, still running. But I just haven't
Still getting
recorded anything
clicks.
new in a long time. So
Well, here's
um,
your motivation too.
yeah, I love it, dude. Well, you're a great dude, and yeah, let's stay in touch. This is a lot of fun.